You don't always need to walk into a haunted house for something to find you. Sometimes it's enough to simply open yourself to the unknown. Welcome guys to Stranger Worlds Nexus. You might be investigating a haunted building, walking through an abandoned site, or just exploring an area heavy with strange energy. And then, days later, something feels off. It starts small, the feeling of being watched, a flicker of movement in the corner of your eye. The light dims when you pass, the air feels heavier, quieter. You tell yourself it's your imagination, but deep down you know something crossed that invisible line, and it didn't stay behind. Across the world, countless people, investigators, including soldiers, scientists, and ordinary witnesses, have described the same unnerving experience. They visit a location charged with paranormal or UFO activity. They document the evidence, feel the adrenaline, maybe even a moment of awe. And then when they go home, the strange activity begins again. Only this time, it's in their own house. Objects move, shadows shift, electronics flicker. Nightmares come alive. This is what many now call the Hitchhiker effect, a visible energy or intelligence that attaches itself to those who seek the unknown, following them, feeding from them, and sometimes even blending with their thoughts. Long before the modern world, our ancestors spoke of the same thing. They just used different words. In ancient Mesopotamia, they feared spirits called Utuku and Giddim, the restless dead, clinging to the warmth of the living. If you entered a cursed site or disturbed the resting place of the dead, these beings could follow you home. The signs were exhaustion, nightmares, sudden illness, and unexplained voices whispering at night. To them, this wasn't superstition, it was survival knowledge. In ancient Egypt, priests warned of energies left behind in tombs and sacred chambers. They spoke of a ka and ba, two parts of the human soul. Disturbing a restless spirit could cause the ba to lash out, attaching itself to the intruder. Even now, archaeologists whisper about strange accidents and eerie coincidences during excavations. They may not say the word curse anymore, but the outcome sounds the same. Ancient Greece and Rome described a spiritual pollution called miasma, an invisible corruption that could cling to people who had been near death or desecration. Unless purified, it could follow them and infect their homes. Roman priests used rituals of smoke and salt to drive away these entities, which they called larvae, malevolent presence that clung to the living like a sickness. Among the Native American peoples, including the Iroquois, for which I have some family ties to, stories spoke of shadow beings and spirits of the land, powerful, aware, and deeply tied to emotion. Disturb a sacred site or take from the earth without respect, and you risked bringing that spirit energy home with you. These weren't tales to frighten children, they were warnings, ways of protecting the living from forces they couldn't yet name. Across every civilization, one message repeats: when you enter a place touched by the unseen, you might not leave alone. After Roswell in 1947, governments around the world turned their attention to UFOs, but beneath the headlines a quieter investigation was forming. It wasn't just about craft in the sky, it was about what happened to people who came into contact with them. In the 1950s and 60s, the CIA and the United States Air Force began to log reports from pilots, soldiers, and intelligence officers who'd encountered unidentified aerial phenomena. Some returned home haunted by reoccurring dreams, electrical disturbances, and strange events around their homes. These cases were classified as psychological, but not everyone agreed. Behind closed doors, a few researchers started calling it contamination. During the Cold War, both America and the Soviet Union began exploring psychic and energetic phenomena as potential weapons. Projects like Stargate, Grill Flame, and Scanite focused on remote viewing, the ability to see beyond distance or time. But participants sometimes reported disturbing after effects, shadows following them, sleep paralysis, and the sense of being watched. Even without stepping into a haunted place, they felt something had attached to them through consciousness alone. Then came the Skinwalker Ranch. Robert Bigelow assembled a team of scientists and ex-military personnel to investigate reports of strange creatures, lights and dimensional anomalies for Utah property. They went in expecting data. What they found was something that watched them back. Members of the team began to experience activity far from the ranch, at home, hundreds of miles away, objects moving on their own, dark figures appearing at the edge of beds, family members reporting nightmares and unseen presences. These were serious, disciplined people, the kind who write official reports, not ghost stories. And yet, every logbook told the same truth. Whatever was at the ranch didn't stay there. When the United States Defense Intelligence Agency took over under the AAWSAP program in 2008, their own documents mentioned transference phenomena. Something had learned to cross the boundary between location and person, and that something was intelligent. It reacted to attention. The more you studied it, the closer it got. That was when investigators realised the real danger wasn't the phenomena itself, it was human curiosity. Because when you observe the unknown might start observing you. So, why does it happen to some and not others? Why do a few people seem to carry it with them while others walk away untouched? Perhaps the answer lies not in the place, but in the person. Some people appear to act like beacons, their energy or emotion acting as a signal. Strong emotion, trauma, or fascination might open the door whether they mean to or not. The Iroquois believe that every person has an inner current called Beyondinok, the hidden energy of our soul that reflects our desires and fears. If that current becomes unbalanced, it can draw things towards it. Some of those things are positive, guidance, dreams, inspiration. Others, darker. Modern researchers echo this idea in scientific terms. High stress changes the electromagnetic field around the human body. Emotional energy radiates like a frequency, measurable and unique. And in environments where strange phenomena already occur, that energy acts like a beacon. At the Skinwalker Ranch, for instance, witnesses notice that the more emotionally invested they become, the stronger the activity grew. It was as if the phenomena was mirroring their focus, responding to awareness itself. One investigator described it perfectly. It's like a mirror that looks back. The same mirror effect shows up in haunting cases worldwide. Investigators open themselves to communication, ask questions, invite energy in, and then wonder why it doesn't stay behind. Because consciousness might not just be observing the event, it might be participating in it. In that sense, the human mind becomes a receiver, and maybe even a transmitter. Once the link forms, both sides are aware of each other. Breaking that connection isn't as simple as walking away. The door is open and it doesn't always close easily. If energy can attach to you, surely it can be removed. But the truth is more complex and older than we think. From the first civilizations onward, people have created ways to cleanse themselves from unseen energy. In Egypt, they used salt, smoke, and sound to rebalance the spirit. The Iroquois Indians and other native people focused on respecting and grounding, acknowledging the spirit without fear, restoring harmony through drumming, fire, or water. because fear, they believed, feeds the attachment. Calm weakens it. The medieval church called these attachments possession. Their response was the ritual of exorcism, loud, forceful, commanding. But even those rituals followed the same pattern, reclaiming the human will, resetting the emotional balance. Again, at the Skinwalker Ranch and in later AAWSAP research, scientists began designing their own protection routines, not religious, but psychological. Before entering an active site, they would ground themselves. They'd visualize a mental barrier, clear their thoughts, and set the attention not to carry anything home. It was, in essence, a scientific version of a prayer. When activity followed researchers home, some tried environmental resets, white noise, grounding with natural elements, or simply staying calm and refusing to acknowledge the activity. And time after time, it worked. The less energy they gave the phenomena, the faster it faded. Maybe the secret isn't to fight it, but to stop feeding it, because the hitchhiker effect seems drawn to attention and thrives on emotion. When that connection loses power, it lets go. What if all these stories, from ancient spirits to modern hitchhikers, are describing the same underlying reality? Not ghosts or aliens or energy fields, but the same vast intelligent force that responds to human awareness. Modern quantum physics has shown that observation changes reality. When we watch particles behave differently, the universe itself seems to notice us. For centuries, spiritual traditions have said the same thing. What you focus on, you strengthen. What you fear, you invite. What you love, you protect. And again at Skinwalker Ranch, investigators concluded that the phenomena was consciousness reactive. It didn't just respond to cameras and sensors, it responded to them. It seemed to know when it was being observed. It looked back. Perhaps that's the same truth ancient cultures were warning about. Curiosity itself creates a bridge between worlds, that our thoughts, emotions and beliefs act like keys in an invisible lock. The Iroquois say all the things are alive. Stones, river, even air. To walk through a place is to touch that living network. And when you touch it, it touches you. If your heart is open, it may follow the thread home. The government findings, including the AAWSAP, echoed that in their own language, human consciousness as the interface between the physical and the non-physical. To them, the hitchhiker effect wasn't folklore, it was a sign that reality itself might be participating, alive, reactive, intertwined with us in ways we're only beginning to grasp. Maybe that's what we've been chasing all along. Not external visitors or restless dead, but an ancient intelligence that reflects our curiosity back at us. One that reveals itself only to those who dare to look too deeply. So, if you've ever walked away from a haunted place and felt something still near you, if you've ever looked into the dark and sensed it looking back, maybe you've brushed against that same current, the one that hums quietly beneath everything we call reality. The question isn't whether the hitchhiker effect is real, the question is whether we are ready to understand what it is trying to show us. You know, after hearing all these stories, studying the cases and feeling that same strange energy that follows people home, I can't help but think that we're looking at something far bigger than we realise. Maybe the so-called hitchhiker effect isn't about ghosts, demons or aliens at all. Maybe it's about us. When you open yourself to the unknown, step into an ancient place, walk through the dark with intent, something happens. It's like reality looks back, it notices you, and for a moment, you and it become connected. Some call it a haunting, some call it possession, but maybe it's more like a reflection, a mirror held up by the universe showing us that we're part of something conscious, alive and aware. And from the Iroquois stories about the living web of the world, to the military reports at Skinwalker Ranch, to the old religions that warned us of spirits that cling to the curious, it all says the same thing. Everything is connected. The energy you send out comes back. The places you touch remember you. And the things you see in the dark might just be seeing you too. So, if you ever walk away from an investigation or from a strange night in your own home and something feels different, don't always think of it as a curse. Maybe, just maybe, it's an invitation, a quiet reminder that we're not alone in this world or the next. In the Catholic tradition, exorcism is the most well-known response, but it's not about shouting or dramatic gestures. It's a precise ritual performed only after careful investigation. The priest examines a person for signs, sudden changes in behaviour, aversion to sacred objects, knowledge of things they couldn't possibly know. Only after confirming that the disturbance cannot be explained by medical or psychological conditions is a formal rite performed. The goal isn't punishment, it's restoration, to reclaim the person's free will, clear the attachment and realign the spiritual balance. Other traditions have similar approaches. In Orthodox Christianity, priests bless individuals and homes with holy water, prayers and chants, sometimes combined with fasting or purification practices. In Jewish mysticism, a daybook is a wandering spirit that can attach itself to a living person. Exorcism involves ritual prayer and community support to release it. Many indigenous cultures, including the Iroquois, use drumming and fire purification, emphasizing respect, balance, and consent rather than domination. What all these approaches share is intentionality and authority. The practitioner sets boundaries using faith, ritual or ceremonial to guide the attached entity back to its proper place. Unlike the hitchhiker effect described by modern researchers, which is subtle and reactive, religious methods are direct. They name, confront, and command. Interestingly, even scientific investigators have noticed parallels. For instance, the AAW SAP researchers noted that these rituals create a structured energy field, reinforcing boundaries between human consciousness and the phenomena. Whether through prayer or intention, the effect is similar. It resets the connection and restores balance. Across cultures and centuries, humans have sought practical ways to protect themselves, whether through ritual, science, or awareness. The lesson remains the same. If something attaches to you, you reclaim control, mind, body, and spirit, and restore the harmony of your world. If you ever feel that something has followed you home, a shadow, a presence, or simply a heaviness that won't leave, the first step is simple. Don't panic. Fear fuels these things. Calmness weakens them. Start with your space. Open the windows. Let light and air in. Play gentle music or speak aloud with confidence. Tell whatever it is that it has no permission to remain. It sounds small, but intention and spoken authority matter. If it persists, there are people who can help. For spiritual support, speak with a local priest or pastor, a rabbi or spiritual elder, someone experienced in blessing homes or house clearings. For those who approach it scientifically, contact a reputable paranormal research group with a proven record of evidence-based investigation, not thrill seekers, but those who focus on calm documentation and respectful cleansing. If the experience begins to affect your sleep, mood or well-being, reach out to a mental health professional as well. Sometimes what feels supernatural can also be psychological stress, and both deserve attention. There's no shame in covering every single angle: mind, body and spirit. And finally, protect yourself before investigations. Ground yourself with intention. Imagine a circle of light or energy surrounding you, and when you leave the site, firmly say, "Nothing may follow me home." Simple words, ancient power. Awareness, protection and balance. That's how we stay connected to the light, even when exploring the dark. This is Stranger Worlds Nexus, and remember, the mystery doesn't end when the lights go out. Sometimes that's exactly where it begins.